right, so I'm Renee Kinney, the Healthy Living Director here at the Southwood County YMCA. And today we are going to focus on our feet and being grounded and balanced. It's April, Earth Day is coming up, and that's where the theme's coming from. So to get started, take a nice stance with your feet shoulder distance or wider, and then just sway side to side. You can also get your arms and chest moving. And then come still with your feet, spread your weight out between your toes, push into your heels, engage your legs, pull your core in, and then just stand still nice and tall. Take a couple of big breaths in and out. With your eyes shut, check in with your posture. Are you just here standing, or are you pressed into your feet? Are your legs engaged? If you engage your core and send yourself taller through the top of your head, do you feel your spine lengthen? Just take a couple more breaths. Push from your feet to keep yourself up tall. You can create your own intention for your practice today, or follow along with me, which is balance and staying grounded. Take in one more big breath, and then open your mouth and let it out. You can open up your eyes, shift your weight again, put your weight over onto your left leg, but don't let your hip pop out. You're just keeping yourself up tall and alert. And then we're going to just push into those toes and then push into your heel of the opposite foot. Just kind of stretch out the arch, spread out all your toes. And then we're going to come onto the top of that foot and make some circles. If you need a chair to help with your balance, that's always an option, or stand by a wall. Make sure to change the direction of your knee. And push into those toes, bend into both of your knees, and just hold here for a moment. You can even go side to side to get some stretch into your ankle and the rest of your toes. Still focus on that same foot, step it back, push the tops of your toes into the ground, and then again, bend into your knees depending on how much stretch you need into that leg and foot. Still focus on that same foot. Try to keep your heel down, turn your toes out as far as you can, and then bring them in as far as you can. Again, notice that standing hip. Are you kicking out to the side, or are you keeping yourself in and tall? Last thing, ground down into that foot that's on the floor. Other knee, bring it up to your chest. And then step it back down. Just 3 times. Lift as you breathe in. Set it down as you exhale. And then plant into that foot. Keep your hip up and tall over your ankle. And then we're just going to bend the other side and then pull your toes up. Back and forth a few times. And then come all the way forward onto your toes and start that circling. Again, notice what's happened with your breath. Are you holding on to it? You want to try keeping your breath moving with the movements. And then keep those toes down on the ground, bend into your knees, up and down a few times to stretch out your ankles. Step behind you, push into the tops of your toes. And then bring that foot back in, keep your heel down. Remember, we're going to turn your toes out as far as you can, and then in. One more time out. Bring it back in. And then lift your knee up to your chest, set it back down. 2 more times. Last time up nice and high, and then release. Now on both feet, you're going to come up onto your toes, and then back down. Try to peel your toes off the mat. Here again, a chair in front of your hands or off to your side will help with balance. One more time, up nice and high, and then set your heels down, pick those toes up, try to spread them apart, and set them down on the ground. And then keep them spread, lift them back up, set them back down. One more time, up and down. All right, now is where we're gonna want an extra mat, or take the one that you have and just roll it up. You're gonna want that wall or chair again. Stand up on your mat, and then you're just playing with your balance. You can also walk it out from side to side, massaging your feet. And then we're going to come onto the mat again, and we're going to try those toe lifts or heel lifts. So you're going to drive up into your toes and then set them back down. See if you can pick your toes up. Couple more times. Remember, we're working on your balance today, so everything is designed for you to fall out and challenge yourself and see what you're capable of. All right, now you're going to keep one foot on the mat. The other one is just going to hover in the air. And from here, you want to drop and with your hip to press that foot into the floor and then pick it back up. So a lot of the movement is happening at your hips here, trying to keep your legs, your knees straight. One more time. And then let's switch. Just a couple of times, thinking about dropping your hip towards the ground and then squeezing your hip up towards your ribs. One more. And then let's come to the back of that rolled up mat so your heels are on the ground, but your toes are still on the mat. And then bend into your knees and straighten back up. Bend a couple more times, just testing the range of motion in your ankles. Maybe you feel a little stretch into the backs of your hamstrings behind your knees. 2 more times. Try to keep your chest up, your core engaged. Even though we're focused down at your feet, the rest of your body is still active in the practice. 1 more. Now let's come down onto the mats. We'll take a seat, and you're going to want a rag for this next part, or a towel or a sock. You're going to take your towel and weave it in between your toes, so there's lots of space in between them. And then that foot, we're just going to let out to the side and rest with the towel in between. The other foot is when we're gonna focus and just take your thumbs, knead out the bottom of your foot, stretch and tug on your toes. Make sure to touch the sides of your feet, rub around the back of your heel. And then we're gonna put that foot down on the ground in front of us. If it's not comfortable sitting on the ground, you can always prop yourself up with a block or go right into a chair for these next exercises. What you're focusing on though is looking at your toes, making that connection to them, and then trying to pick them all up off the ground and then set them back down onto the mat or ground. A couple times, pick them all up, set them back down. Now pick them up, try to spread them out a little wider, and then set them back down. Again, pick up, spread, and set down. One more time. Now keep your toes on the ground, scrunch them in, and then spread them out against the mat. Just a couple times, trying to squeeze your toes back into your heel, and then spread them out against the floor. One more time. Now, this is the hard part. Well, for me anyways. So you're going to just try, and if I have to keep my hands on those other toes, you're just gonna pick up the big toe and then set it back down. A couple times, just trying to pick up only the big toe. It's not working. And then you can keep the big toe down, try and pick up all the others, and set them back down. Another exercise you can try is picking them all up and then setting down the pinky, the next, the middle, second, and the big toe, and then trying to pick them up in the opposite order. It's a lot more brain work than it is physical work. Keep practicing. You could also try picking up that pinky toe first. All right, then let's take that foot back into our hands. You're gonna take your fingers, put them in between each toe, work them in as far as you can go, and then squeeze your toes into your fingers, and then let that release and relax. Do that again, squeeze and hold, and relax. One more time, squeeze everything in, knuckles in, toes in, and relax. Then putting that leg up onto your lap, just make some circles through your ankle. Feel that big toe joint move around. Maybe you can even inch your fingers in a little bit more. And then let's switch. We're gonna take that rag out of those toes, put it into that other foot. Let that leg out. We're gonna bring this one in, start with that massaging, just rub out your toes, the ball of your foot, get every bit of your arch and all the way back to your heel. Also notice the top of your foot. How often do you really touch this part of your body? And then we're gonna bring that knee in so your foot is on the ground. First, we're starting just by lifting up and setting them back down. For me, it helps if I really stare at my toes, then I can get them to move around. All right, now you're gonna keep your toes down, squeeze into the mat, and spread out. Again, squeeze toes in towards your heels, and spread out. Once more. Now we're just gonna try lifting up one toe at a time, or just the big toe. Couple more times. And then switch, press down into that big toe, or if you don't have to use your hands, more power to you, but try to lift the other ones and set them back down. And then we'll try that rainbow arc, picking them all up, setting just one down at a time. Do what I say and not as I do. All right, and then let's take those other fingers in between your toes. And just a couple times, squeeze into your fingers and then release. Squeeze and hold. Release. One more time. And release. Bring your foot up onto your leg. Make some circles into your ankle. Change the direction or just pull front to back. And we're going to set that rag off to the side. Keep your legs out and just point, flex. Let's come on into tabletop onto your hands and knees. Cow and cat a few times. Cow is where you're pushing your belly down, lifting up through your heart and chest. And in cat pose, you're pushing into your hands, rounding out your spine and looking underneath for your belly button. Move back and forth through those two movements. Take one more of each. And then this next posture or pose is called broken toe. And you're going to tuck your toes in underneath, sit back onto your heels. And then again, you're not just plopped in here. You want to sit up nice and tall, lift through your heart, keep your spine long. And if it's not feeling challenging enough, put your weight further back into your heels. If it feels like too much, come forward or try taking your hands to your sides, out in front of you. Something else to focus on other than the bottom of your feet. Take 3 deep breaths here. Then come forward, release your feet, set them down, sit back onto your heels again, walk your hands back, and then start to lift your knees up so you can stretch out the tops of your feet and your ankles. Let's come up into a downward dog, but I want you to go as slow as possible. So you're gonna push from your feet, lift your knees up, slowly start to straighten out your legs, and then push back into your hands and your feet. Then from here, Bounce back and forth with your knees, trying to touch your heels towards the ground. Come up high onto your tiptoes and come forward with your feet and your weight all the way into a forward fold. Just hang out for a second. We're going to drop down to a yogi squat. So you're going to want to turn your feet out hip width distance, turn your heels in, and then drop down into your hips. You can keep your hands on the ground or bring them up to your chest. But either way, just kind of move out a little bit here. It's going to stretch out your ankles, your toes some more. We're going to add in a twist, so keep your right hand on the ground, reach up with your left. Plant your left one down, reach up with your right. Release both hands down to the mat, come all the way up to a wide stance fold. Slowly come all the way back up. And we're going to do tree pose, end with a little bit of standing balance. Plant your right foot down into the ground. Bring your left knee up in front of you. You can have your chair here by the side. By bringing your knee up in front of you, it's keeping your hips leveled out. Now from here, you can open your knee out to the side, plant your foot somewhere on the inside of that leg. It can even be right down here, and like a little kickstand is helping you stay upright. If you have your foot up against your knee, it's important that you don't let your knee kick out to the side, but that you keep it tall and strong over your ankle. Same with your hips. If you're kicked out to the side, pull yourself in and up nice and tall. And this is tree pose. So we're gonna hold here for a couple of deep breaths. You can grow your arms like a tree, stand here nice and tall. Do what works for you. You could also try looking down at those toes, picking them up off the floor and setting them back down. Some of the things that we worked with earlier. Take 2 more breaths. And then we're gonna switch it out, plant that opposite foot down into the ground, tree pose, think roots. Then lift up, turn out, and step strong into your leg. So both feet have action in them. You're pushing down into the ground with the one, the other one you're pushing into your leg, and all with the idea of keeping yourself up nice and tall. Again, you can try lifting your toes on this side, or maybe you want to try shutting an eye. Either way, take a couple more breaths, stay tall and proud through your chest. And release. We're going to come into a standing mountain pose. So very similar to what we started in today. You're going to just push into your feet, keep your legs in and engaged, lift up through your heart, shut your eyes down. Notice how soon before your attention is distracted or before you start to slouch in parts of your body. Bring your hands together up to your chest. Bow your head to yourself. Take in a deep breath through your nose. Open your mouth and exhale. Take a moment to set your mood for the rest of the day. And then salute yourself by saying namaste. Thanks for joining me.